On this video, we got to talk about the color pink and why it might need to be in your bass fishing arsenal. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today on this video, we're going to be talking about the color pink, as I already mentioned. But we just got back from the Bassmaster Classic, had a great couple days down there. It was really cool to get back to the Classic expo. You know, I haven't been in the last few years, so it was really special to go there and, number one, get so many people pull me aside and ask me how my daughter's doing and how we're doing. It's just so special to have that kind of support. So I just want to say thank you, guys, and also say thank you to everybody that just said they love the channel and love the content I'm putting out there. I'm truly honored. It really is something that I didn't fully expect, but man, it felt great. So thank you guys so much. And I also want to give a shout out to one special fan. It was the youngest fan that I met last week. I met a lot of young fans. Most of the people I think that watch this channel are kind of in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, but I had a little boy named Justin come up to me. I gave him a couple hats, a couple stickers, and it was just really cool to interact with him and hear that he likes the channel. So honored, man. Good to see you at the Classic, Justin, and I hope you trust the process and catch a bunch of fish. Anyways, this video, again, is all about the color pink because, and the reason why I started out talking about the Classic is not only to say thank you to all the fans, but also at the expo, you know, I'm hearing a lot of talk about the color pink because Lee Livesey did really well in that event. I think he finished third or fourth, and he did it in part with a jackhammer just like this. Now, I don't know exactly what trailer he was using, but he was using some kind of like pink fluke, it looked like, style trailer. But he was using the Z-Man jackhammer in the Morning Dawn color, which is a pretty new color to the jackhammer lineup. And man, I've kind of been toiling over the idea of throwing the Morning Dawn color and like what type of situations it would work in. And just watching Lee, you know, fish that bait and considering the timing of it really kind of solidified, you know, my view on when this bait would work best. And that really has to do with the spring. I'm sure that there's plenty of other situations and times that you could throw this color, whether it's the jackhammer or other types of baits, and do really well. And so I just wanted to give you my thoughts on why it was so successful in the Classic for Lee and how you might be able to use pink baits to get more bites, you know, wherever you're fishing. So, so this is again, the jackhammer that we're talking about in the Morning Dawn color. I actually added a twilight colored 4.5 inch trick shots, or the 4.25 inch trick shots to it, because we don't have any other trailers in the Z-Man line that are a pink color that I know of. So this actually fits quite well. You can see there that profile is actually pretty legit. So I've got links for the jackhammer and also the trick shots in the description below, so you can check out those links if you're looking to stock up on this stuff. But other bait categories that I've used pink for years, or you know, colors that are very similar to pink, kind of do the same thing as we just showed you the twilight trick shots. Okay, we've been using, and twilight is kind of a play on Morning Dawn. All right, so this one's a little bit brighter than some of the other color combinations that other brands have. Twilight is super effective, and I've used it in things like the trick shots and also long shots. The long shots worms, which are up there on my bait wall. I didn't grab them down, should have. But essentially long straight tail worms that you're using for like drop shotting. Twilight or Morning Dawn, that color combination, it's kind of got a little bit of purple, a little bit of pink. Very, very effective under a lot of circumstances. So Morning Dawn is obviously a color, and Twilight too, that is just a super producer, and I really think it has a lot to do with that pink. Other baits that we've used for a while, that are pink are like floating worms, like this right here. Bubblegum is a traditional favorite for springtime fishing around brush and things like that. And so bubblegum, I'll also throw methylate into that similar category. Methylate's kind of like a very bright mix between orange and pink. All right, if you mix those two together, you pretty much have methylate. Those are really the baits that I've used the color pink in for bass fishing. Also, I've seen some really bright pink baits in the crankbait category. I personally have not explored pink crankbaits that much for bass fishing, but after this week and really just recognizing that there's probably something that we really haven't done before as much, that we haven't discovered, I think that we need to use pink more. I honestly think that that there are so many mysteries out there in bass fishing, and sometimes we just, as a group of anglers, tend to stick with the same old, and then all you need is somebody like Lee Livesey going out there with a pink chatterbait and starting to catch fish on that, to really recognize, hey, there's more to this and we need to experiment a little bit. So anyways, the color pink to me is a very interesting color, because I don't think that it is a color that is really natural looking. There's not a whole lot in nature that looks like this. And a fish's eyesight and ability to see color is very nuanced, okay? I'm not an expert, I'm not a biologist and so I haven't, I don't know the exact science to how fish see color. I know that it's primarily in shades, okay? So it's not really the color, it's the shade that the fish see in general. But I also think that whether it's the shade or the actual color pink, there's something that really triggers something in a fish that gets them very aggressive. And I don't think that it's all the time. I really don't think that pink has that effect on bass specifically all year round. But I'll kind of give you, my experience with these bright colors like pink or red or even like chartreuse. Working in Alaska, I guide for salmon up there. And when I'm fishing for salmon, one of the things that we know fishing for like coho or the king salmon is they like those bright colors, especially coho. A bright pink or bright fire red colored spinner is going to attract a lot of coho salmon and really get them to bite. And I think it's just because it is a color that triggers something in their DNA that gets them really quite angry, actually. And the reason why I think that this is the same thing with bass is because the color pink or bright red or methylate really plays the biggest role for me always during the springtime. So when the fish are in their spawning phases, so pre-spawn, spawn, and post-spawn, but primarily pre-spawn and spawn, those two phases, man, colors like pink really do seem to get the fish angry. It's not even a feeding response, it's an anger response to that color. So in a perfect example is the floating worm. There's no other technique that I fish during the spring that gets more vicious strikes than when you find yourself in that narrow window of opportunity to be able to throw a floating worm around shallow cover. I mean, this technique, if you find yourself at that time period where they're eating it, it's amazing. They will with reckless abandon just destroy your floating worm. And it's, to me, it just seems, just observing it, it seems like it's more of a anger response than it is a feeding response. And so I think the reason why Lee Livesey was having success with this bait in particular, this color in particular on Ray Roberts, is because we're in the springtime, we're in that pre-spawn in spawn time period. And I think that the color pink, along with some other of those bright, unnatural looking colors, trigger something in those fish, whether it's a defensive response, an anger response, just an overall aggression. I'm not sure exactly what it is. I don't think it's a feeding response, but I think that there's something to it that gets those fish fired up during the pre-spawn and post-spawn specifically. Now, whether or not we're going to start seeing guys throw, this morning dong chatterbait or other, pink colored lures throughout the year and start having success, and maybe just discover that the color pink was kind of a sleeper altogether in bass fishing, I don't know. But what I can tell you is that I think that there is really something during the spring that that makes this color productive, and I think that we're overlooking it in general as anglers, and so maybe we need to start making some more pink colored lures in bass fishing and giving those a try. So anyways, guys, those are just some thoughts on the color pink and why it might need to be in your tackle box for bass fishing. Again, I just want to say a big thank you to everybody that came up to me at the Classic. It is a true honor that you guys enjoy this content. I just can't say that enough. So thank you guys so much. Make sure you check out the links in the description below for the products we talked about today. Other than that, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and I'm going to see you out on the water. Trust the process.